Hi, I'm Weslyn, and this is going to be my February wrap-up. So let's start off with the books that I finished in February. I read 3 books in February. So to start off with, the first book I finished was As the Last Leaf Falls by Christopher Hughes. This is a book about dying, bereavement, and like grief as a whole from a pagan perspective. As you can see, I really enjoyed it. I tabbed all of the exercises and things that I thought would be useful to me in this stage of my life. So highly recommend this book if you are interested in paganism and thoughts on death and dying. And then the second book that I finished is Grow Veg by Benedict Van Heems. This is just a little gardening project book for beginners. I am not a beginner gardener, but I still have beginner struggles. So I thought that since I was trying to get into my garden, that I would pick this up. I tabbed all the projects that I was interested in and a couple of like little pointer pages, which are the blue tabs here and here. But really enjoyed this. If you are a beginner gardener, I would definitely recommend this one. And then the last book that I was able to finish was actually on audio, and that is Wizard and Glass, the 4th book in the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. This is my second time reading this particular book. It's my second full read through of the series. So this is always going to be a 5-star for me. I really enjoy Stephen King. So really enjoy the series. I picked the audiobook up for this, I think in 2023, and then my library card expired, so I wasn't able to listen to it last year, and then I figured out I could renew my library card without going into the library. So I renewed my library card this year and was finally able to get my hands on the audiobook again to finish this off. So those were the 3 books that I was able to finish in February, but I did read more than that. So we're going to talk about the books that I am still actively reading, or that I was still actively reading in February. March is off to a not great start, but so we'll briefly touch on this because I did mention it in my January wrap-up as well, and that is A Little Life. I'm still reading this. I am 358 pages in. I do plan to continue it. I just haven't been picking up fiction lately, so. And then also mentioned in my January wrap-up, I'm still reading Kate Chopin's Bayou Folk and A Night in Acadie. I have officially entered the A Night in Acadie portion of this book, so I am 175 pages in. It is short stories, so I just kind of read in between my other books. And then I am reading Flowers in the Attic. I am 161 pages in, really enjoying this as much as you can enjoy a story about children locked in an attic. You know, it is what it is. Either way, I'm really enjoying the writing style of this. I do find it very interesting. Again, I just haven't picked up fiction this month. Really, I've been focusing on nonfiction. Then another book that I started in February is The Bog Wife. This has a lot of like buzzwords for me. First of all, bog. The fact that there's pitcher plants on the cover. I'm actually buddy reading this with a friend. Slide that back on there. I am 31 pages into this. I started it like towards the end of February, I think. And I'm really enjoying it so far. The writing is absolutely beautiful. Within the first couple of pages, I had already started tabbing it because I was just like, this is perfect. But it takes place in Appalachia. It's Gothic, West Virginia. Yeah, atmospheric Appalachian Gothic. The Hasley siblings of West Virginia unearth long-buried secrets when the supernatural bargain entwining their fate with their ancestral land is suddenly ruptured. Yeah, buzzwords. Lots of them for me. And then the last book that I'm still actively reading is Unquiet Voices. This is a a book on like spirits. I could have said that more eloquently. The Magical Art of Laying Ghosts, as it says here on the cover. It's based on Scottish folk magic. Very interesting. I have been tabbing this for quotes and things that I find interesting, exercises that I think will be useful to me, or just exercises in general, because I like to tab all the exercises in a book when I read it the first time so that I can go straight to the exercises when I'm going through it the second time. So those are all of the books that I finished and books that I am still reading but started in February or continued reading in February. I have a few books that I purchased in February that I'm going to talk about now. I am trying really hard to slow down on book buying. It is detrimental to my bank account, so I'm trying really hard to kind of slow my roll a little bit. So there's only a few books here compared to last month. So we'll start with the one that I got from the free library at Midtown Reader, and that is The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Kisty? I don't know. But I was immediately pulled in because it's about occultism, and I was like, okay, I'm down. So yeah, picked this one up from the free library, and then while I was at Midtown Reader, I also picked up a Victorian Psycho. I don't really know a whole lot about this. I just, there's decapitated doll on the back, little creepy, either doll or child on the front, and I was like, yeah, yes please, I would like this. And then I also picked up this poetry collection. It's called The Swellest Wife Anyone Ever Had. This is an autographed copy by a Florida author. I was about to say local, but I don't know if they're local to me. But Florida author, and this is going to go on my Florida bookshelf at work. I am eventually going to read it. I just have to make time for it. So the last book that I picked up from Midtown Reader this month is The Crocodile Bride. I got this on sale, and again, lots of buzzwords, crocodile being one of them. Swampy Summer in 1982. So, takes place in Louisiana. Southern book. Buzz location. Then I did pick up a book off Amazon. I'm trying not to buy anything off Amazon anymore. I think I was trying to meet free shipping when I picked this one up, so I just kind of tacked it on. But that is the Book of Killer Plants. This book is by Kit Carlson. It's a field guide to nature's deadliest creations. I have a fascination with plants that can kill, anything poisonous or detrimental to the health of those who come into contact or ingest plants. I'm very fascinated by. So I went ahead and picked this up to add to my collection. I have quite a few books on poisonous plants now, so I figured might as well add this one. It was recommended, I think, by Kobe Michael, which is why it was on my list. So added that to the list. And the last book that I picked up in February is But Not Too Bold, Hache Pueo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I picked this up from Common Ground Books, which is another one of my favorite local bookstores, favorite queer bookstores in town. Highly recommend. Have not picked this up yet, but it is a short one, so maybe I'll squeeze it in soon. Sometimes it just feels good to finish a book, especially when you're reading so many like hefty content books. So those are all the books that I purchased this month, and then I have 3 books that I want to talk about that I would like to get to in March, even though I still have books from January and February that I haven't finished. These are 3 that I would like to get to. The first I don't own physically, but it is The Devil's Pocketbook by Ross Jeffrey, I think is the author. I have that on my Kindle, and it's a book that I got for review that I unfortunately never didn't finish on time. I've been reading it for quite some time, just on and off. It's not that it's bad, I just have to make time for it, and I have not. Devil's Pocketbook is the first book that I would like to get to, and then continuing on my adventures in Eldia, like readathon prompts, the third prompt that I got was to read a book with a pointy object, pointy weapon on the cover. So I picked Well Matched. There is a little sword here. So there's a little sword. And then there's an axe up here. So Well Matched. I've read the first 2 books in this series and really enjoyed them. The first book is still my favorite. But Well Matched is the 3rd book in that series. And the first one is Well Met, I think. Well Played. I don't know. I don't remember. I thought Well Played was the 2nd one. So Well Met. And then the last book that I would like to get to in March is Generation Dread by Britt Ray. This is about finding your purpose in the age of climate crisis. I'm really big on environmentalism, trying to be better and do better and spread awareness as well. So I figured this now would be a good time to read this. I've had this for over a year now, and it's been on my mind quite heavily. So figured I would try to pick it up this month if I can, assuming I can. But that is all I really have for you for February. If you have any questions, if you've read any of these or anything like that, let me know in the comments. And my next video is actually going to be about my oddities collection. I had a friend recommend that I show like my favorite oddities in my collection, so I will be doing that next. I'm just going to be doing like my top 10 and show those things. But yeah, if you have any recommendations for me, book-wise or like content-wise, let me know. I would be happy to oblige to anyone who is actually watching my content. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.